Welcome to the week 3 VFL. I'm going to talk you through my team and what I'm going to do. It is an insanely hard week. We're going to go through some different options that I have available. There's a lot going on. First, a review of game week 2. I got 95 points, which actually on the leaderboard for game week 2 puts me 698th. So not my best overall, to be honest, but if we sort by the event total, I'm currently 26. So if you're ahead of me, if you're one of these 25 people ahead of me, then very well done, because things obviously are going pretty well for you overall. We have a new leader who's actually ahead by 6 points, and then actually 12 points on third. So Inter Maze, you are doing kind of incredible, to be honest. Let's take a look at my team last week. So I had something, again, doing pretty well. I think the Paper X players in general doing pretty well. Primi had a bad week, and I know that some of you IGL'd Primi, against DFM, thinking this was going to be a, high score, easy win. It didn't work out that way at all. Only got 7 points. Not great. Mitch continues to pop off. 13 points for Mitch. Probably one of my best picks overall. Yeah, just really liking where Mitch and Cloud9 are. Now, they do have a tough game against Sentinels coming up, for this next week. So I'm actually going to bench Mitch this week. That's something that I know I'm going to do. I'm actually going to bench Mitch for Prize. So Prize of 2G is playing against Furia. So I'm actually going to play Prize against Furia instead of Mitch against Sentinels. Let me know if you think that that's, a good decision or not. Some of you might think not. But I think it's a decent choice. Munchkin and Foxy9, again, both I think have been a little bit underwhelming. Obviously, they got battered in the first map, which was kind of the problem. They've both been a little bit underwhelming, though, but still, they're solid options, right? They're not going to have, like, a disaster score. We'll get to someone who did that for me. But, yeah, a little bit underwhelming. Forsaken, 12-pointer. Can't be too annoyed with that. My IGL, that's perfectly fine. Happy with that score and result for Forsaken. That's fine. And then Killua actually did quite a bit better than Primi. 12 points, even in a loss, right? That's actually a pretty good score in a loss, a 12-pointer for Killua. So, yeah, can't be too mad at that score overall. And then Kess with a 9-pointer. Had a bit of a quieter day for 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves as a team are looking really, really nice. So, very happy to have a 6.5 player, non-IGL on a team, that's doing really well right now. And then Luxo let me down big time, right? This was the worst game Luxo has had. I mean, just VFL things, right? I pick up Luxo and he has by far the worst game. I mean, Loud have lost games before, right? But Luxo has always been top fragging and, getting kills all the time. He just didn't turn up. It looked like he'd never played Corrode, to be honest. So not a great pick right there. But my transfers are very obvious, to be honest. As much as I kind of want to get rid of Luxo for having a terrible week, I'm not going to. I have to get rid of Primi and Killua because Talon's games from now on are T1 and Paper X. And obviously, they just lost to DFM. I'm not feeling great about those games. I do still think that Primi and Killua could get okay scores. I still think, they could actually do okay. And, like, as long as they win a map in those games, you can still get decent scores. But I think that overall I have more trust in the rest of my team. So those will be the players I'm getting rid of, which means I have 21 points to spend on 2 players. Now, one of them has to be a duelist, and there are multiple options I could go for here. Okay, but now let's talk about the options that I have available, and there is a lot, and it's very close, in my opinion, in terms of the directions I'm going to go. So I've got 21 to spend, and a lot of these different strategies revolve around Koi. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, right? Because I can downgrade a Killua into Natank or Batty G or Monster here, get an extra to spend, and have like 14/14.5 if I get Batty G to spend, right? There isn't a great option at 14.5 that I like, so really it's a 14. If I was picking between these, I'd probably pick Natank, I think, but I might go Monster as well, but it's all close. It's close, right? If I go for those 3 players, essentially then we're looking at players who cost 14. And there's some good options that I like, right? Miniboo, Durka, Cryo. All, I think, decent options. I know the Cryo hasn't been popping off recently, but would it shock you if Cryo started taking over games? No, and 100 Thieves as a team look very good, right? Durka, I mean, is averaging 11 points. You can see just here, right? Doing good work, right? Same for Miniboo, averaging 11.5 points. Team Heretics doing good work, right? So, and they actually play each other this week, which isn't, maybe ideal. But, yeah, that's the... Or even Althea, right? And going just in on Fnatic, right? All options. So that is kind of the first option, is going for... Let's just call it Natank for now. So option 1 is Natank. And then one of... I think I'd probably lean Miniboo out of those, right? Because I just trust Heretics a bit more. So that's option 1, is going for that. Second Koi option is actually looking at Filu. Because here's the thing, I need to fill this duelist slot. If I go for Filu, that will then open me up to 13.5 points. Which, again, this could be a choice of either Althea or potentially even someone like Hiko. Right, or any of these duelists as well. Now, I don't love any of these duelists here. I think I would rather go for an Alpha or a Kiko, particularly Kiko, right? So let's say, so this is option 1. Well, 2 is going to be here. Kiko plus Filu is option 2. Option 3, again, if we come to Koi, is looking at Flyer. And Flyer, if I go to him, he gives me 15 to spend on my other player. So I could go for Kayak or Zekken, right? So option 3 here of the Koi options is Flyer plus Kayak or Zekken. Now, who would I pick out, Kayak or Zekken? I actually don't know. But either way, you get the point. That's a good option. Option 4, which is the non-Koi option, instead, is to actually look at someone like Woot. Right, so Woot obviously popping off on Team Heretics. I mean, again, one of the highest averages overall. He would be the other option here, who actually gives me then a decent amount to spend. I then get 8.5 to spend on my other player as well, which could be from any role. Taking a look at the 8.5, so if we ignore the 9 for a second, there are some that I don't love. Again, we're obviously going to avoid like MIBR. We're going to avoid Pacific players in general. Don't love Kicks. Don't necessarily trust Cloud enough. Definitely not going Foot. Vekaj actually has been playing really well. Could be a good pick there overall. A Kamek as well. You know, if you trust mates to win, Profek, not a bad option. So this is the thing. I can't really decide. Like Scuba maybe for NRG. Even coming into the H, you've got, you know, people like Brock. Potentially as well, right? As a decent option. Xander is a decent option, right? So there's a lot of like what I would call like decent options here if you wanted to go for it. I mean, even Spike plays against Fury this week if you wanted to do that. So yeah, plenty of like, ooh, maybe, right? Maybe I could go for that. Again, if DH, you know, was playing an extra game, then I would definitely be on him. So a lot of potential good options here for the Woot direction. And this is my problem. This is my dilemma. I've got no idea of which of these 4 is the best. They all seem like good options to me. The problem with the Kiko Filu one is that I don't really love Filu. The problem with going for the other Koi options is that will Koi beat Kamiko for certain? Don't know about that, but long term, they could be pretty good. And I've been pretty high on Koi the whole time, so going for them feels like, you know, a good option. I think overall, last week I took a bit of a risk with Luxo and it didn't go so well. So I think I am going to play it safe. And playing it safe for me is probably not going Kiko. I know that Kiko is a very safe option, but Team Liquid do play against Fnatic and Karmine Core in their last 2. You know, will they definitely win those games? I think they'll beat Karmine Core, but will they definitely beat Fnatic? No, they could get 2-0'd. So I'm going to stick away from that. I'm probably also going to stick away from Kayak. I think I'd prefer Zekken to Kayak overall if I do go for Flyer. But I do trust Heretics. I trust Heretics, I guess, to win their other games, so I am feeling that. I think overall, you can't go wrong with Zekken. Even though he plays against Cloud9 this week, and even though I kind of missed the boat of the Furia 3 points, can you ever go wrong with Zekken? And is the difference between the tank and Flyer that big? And also, I haven't been fully convinced by Team Heretics. Like, they could have lost that game. And their group... So, Team Heretics play against Vitality this week. Is there a world where Vitality win that game? And, like, Heretics have some bad maps and Durka and Les pop off? I think that's a possibility. I think Heretics might be a next week team, honestly. I think I'm leaning towards Flyer and Zekken. I think that's the way I'm leaning. Man, that's such a tough decision. I think I'm going to go for it, though. I think I'm going to go Flyer and Zekken. I think I trust Sentinels the most to win their games. And even if they don't, I still think it's fine. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go... Oh, man, this is such a tough decision. I'm going to go Killua to Flyer. Man, watch him do nothing now. Watch him have an absolute stinker. But no, I trust this team. I trust this team. Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. And we're going Primi to second. Well, it's a risk. It's a risk, but I've gone for it. And then in terms of what I'm going to do now, we are going to IGL Zekken. We are going to save that. We are going to... What did you have to do first? I think sub first. And then bench Mitch. And I think that that is what I'm going to do. And look, I've been in on Koi. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with the belief